Hello and welcome to Off the Cuff. This is a first in the history of Off the Cuff. And Off the Cuff early in the morning. Early in the morning, for me, 11:30 is very early in the morning. It's like people like us work 9 to 9, but London time. But when you have Madhav as your guest, BJP National General Secretary, you let him choose the timing. So Madhav, wonderful to have you on Off the Cuff. And I need help with this, with someone very experienced and someone who understands Indian politics better than I do. That is Rama Lakshmi, my colleague, our opinion editor. Rama will help me carry out this conversation. Rama?
I would like to begin by asking, this is, for many of us, this is really the first BJP government, full-fledged BJP government in India. How has this government changed India in the last 3 years?
India is too big to be changed just in 3 years. The question to be asked should be whether we are changing the country in the right direction or not. We are a different government. We have a different vision for the country. Last 3 years have shown that the Prime Minister and the government are definitely different from the previous ones.
Including Mr. Vajpayee?
You can take it as in terms of his style of functioning and all, is different from all others. Having said it, each individual is different. No two persons can be completely 100% alike. We have taken the country in the direction of, I would say, larger consensus, building larger consensus. 3 years down the line, if I were to add one more great attribute to Prime Minister Modi's functioning, it is his effort to build larger consensus. When I say larger consensus, since you have mentioned about Vajpayee ji, when Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister, we were able to bring together 22, 23 parties. Today, the NDA has expanded. It has 33 parties. And outside of NDA also, there is much greater appeal for Prime Minister. More people who probably are not part of NDA also come express solidarity with him, sometimes on issues and all. So we are moving towards a polity based on greater consensus, which is a big achievement, I believe. I'm talking about at the end of the third year. In the first year, second year, we have had many more achievements. The second thing just I would like to highlight is that in a way, Modi ji has been able to effect a major change in the political system itself. We are a parliamentary democracy. But what we actually see is a kind of a presidential type. Modi versus other leaders. Whether it is national election or regional election, it doesn't mean others are less important or we have changed our political system completely.
Or cabinet system.
We are moving towards a presidential type of system. Good or bad are all things that we have to discuss, but definitely there is a change, a very discernible change in our system.
That's a significant statement, that under Mr. Modi's leadership, we are moving towards a presidential system, or at least a presidential style of system. You said we don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. What do you think?
We have adopted parliamentary democracy after our independence. We have seen it for so many years. It has delivered so many good things for us. We should continue with that system. It's the best system for a country with so much diversity like that of ours. But as I said, in terms of how things are happening today, I said it's a kind of that style that we see in the country.
How would you compare that to late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, which was also a personality-based governing system? Was that also along the same lines?
Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had many achievements to her credit. When she was Prime Minister, she had so many big achievements. To that extent, she deserves praise of providing a strong government, strong leadership and all. But she had many negative things also during her tenure, especially when she became the Prime Minister. India for the first time had to endure 2 years of near dictatorship. I mean, you all have been victims of the dictatorship, so you know better than I do, although I was personally also affected by that. So leaders, each leader has qualities and, negative points.
So, you saw Mr. Vajpayee from close also, not from this close. You were a much younger person, like we were. Would Mr. Vajpayee, if he had the majority, would he have also been presidential? We say that Narendra Modi and Indira Gandhi have been presidential. Both had majorities. Would Mr. Vajpayee have liked to be presidential?
I can't give any hypothetical answer to that. Today's political atmosphere in the country is that you see Prime Minister Modi as the most popular leader. You see the second most popular leader. He will be probably 40 points behind him. So
he will also have only 40 points. 44, okay.
No. Prime Minister Modi's popularity ratings are very high in the country, and people have immense faith in him. In fact, I would put it like that, probably rather than talking about presidential and parliamentary. Politics of hope is what Prime Minister Modi represents. The last man on the street, I can mention a message I got yesterday from one of your colleagues, that the driver would say that, this man should be there for 20 years. He will make India an America. So that is the kind of hope and aspiration that Prime Minister Modi has been able to generate in the country. In that sense, it is politics of hope, politics of aspiration.
Meanwhile, Trump makes America India.
No.
So, politics of hope and aspiration, yes. But in this period, are there also failures, or are there also areas in which more progress could have been made?
As I said, 3 years is not enough.
You are a
time
party man. You are not a government man. You are a party man.
No, I agree. 3 years is not enough to judge any government in black and white. You have given us power for 5 years. We are in the right direction or not, if you ask me, I say yes. But, so I don't talk about success and failures in black and white. But whether we have any challenges after 3 years, if you ask me, yes. There are a few challenges that the government has to tackle. Security area, there are challenges for us. Kashmir, there are issues. I'm sure many in the audience would like to hear more about it. India-Pakistan is an issue. India-China is an issue. So, but I would honestly, without any intention of blaming the predecessors, I would say that these are the problems that we have inherited. We have to tackle them, we have to handle them, which we are trying to do to the best of our ability.
Tavleen?
Do you remember that people used to say after Nehru who? Then it was after Indira who? So we've always had a presidential system disguised as a parliamentary system. So we don't have the advantages of presidential system and all the disadvantages of the parliamentary. So do you have an objection to actually trying for India to have a presidential form? Because we're a very big country and it's clear that the Westminster model hasn't worked that well.
It calls for larger debate, whether the present form of government suits us or not and all that. We have had enough discussion at the time of the making of our constitution, and we decided to opt for parliamentary democracy. If you ask me my personal opinion, a country as diverse as India requires this kind of a parliamentary form of democracy, where large sections of the society find a voice in their public representatives. Whether presidential form would be probably better suited for a country like this, India, is something that probably people like you all have to debate, and then Parliament has to debate over it and all that.
But your view is that for a country as diverse as India, this system works better?
Probably that is the reason why we had enough discussion and decided that...
Even little Nagaland has an MP.
Oh yes, yes, that's why I said the country as diverse as India. For this country, probably this system suits better.
Presidential does not mean that you don't have a parliament. There is a full Congress which is a directly elected parliament. The Americans even have a Senate which is directly elected. And the president and the vice president are directly elected. So it's not as if you lose the advantages of a parliamentary system, because the Congress can block what a president wants to do if, as you said, the large number of people who find a representation.
I got your point. When I said it gives people greater opportunity to represent in the political system, what I meant was not about just vote.
No, but
let me conclude. In a presidential system, please don't take me otherwise, a Devagowda, a Gujral will have a lesser chance to become prime minister. Democratic system provides opportunity to everybody.
Otherwise, even if you don't get elected, you can become a prime minister.
But then
like
but still you have to get elected. That's why I said it's not about this versus that. We have adopted this system. I disagree with anybody who concludes that this has not delivered. I disagree. This has been a very vibrant system for us. We have changed governments at the drop of a hat.
Ever since the Malay insurgency, it has been known that the only way to stop an insurgency is to win the hearts and minds of the people affected. Your government does not appear to believe in that. Would you care to comment?
No, look, there is no one grand model to follow in tackling insurgency and terrorism. Malayan model is the universal model. Probably you think, I don't agree with that. There are different models practiced in the world. What happened in your neighborhood in Sri Lanka? How did they tackle terrorism? So there are various ways of tackling terror. I can tell you the latest example in the neighborhood of Pakistan. How was the Taliban terrorism tackled by Pakistan? They used helicopter gunships.
And
So who said that this is the only way to tackle? Having said it, if you ask me what is our way of tackling it, I can tell you. Take the case of Kashmir problem today. We see two components of it. One is militants and the armed terror activity. The other is common people occasionally coming onto the streets with stones in their hands. Number one, we don't treat both of them as similar, identical, same. They are two different groups. With militancy, we will act very tough. We will neutralize the last militant that is roaming around in the Kashmir Valley with with an AK-47 in his hands. Take it from me. We shall neutralize the last militant. But when it comes to tackling people who are many times misguided, this can happen anywhere. This can happen in Maoist-infested areas. People may come out on streets shouting Lal Salam. You have to deal with them differently. Largely they are misguided. They are not terrorists. All that I say is, there is no standard model of handling insurgency. Each country has to choose its own model, and each country has to choose its own model suited to its own problem. The model that we adopt, the method that we adopt in Kashmir may not suit in Dantewada.
Or Nagaland.
Or Nagaland, yes, there are different ways. And we have held talks with many groups where dialogue is possible, where dialogue is necessary. We have held talks. We have been talking to NSCN. When I say not we, these issues are a continuum. Previous governments have done it. We are doing it. Where it is possible, yes, dialogue. Where it is not possible, other options cannot be ruled out.
Well, I mean, if I may just add to that, in the Northeast, Government of India, through great creativity, has added sub-clauses to Article 370 and 371 of the Constitution to answer some local concerns. Dr. Anna and then Rama.
I must congratulate you first for being a part of the government of Kashmir after many, many years. But is there a difference between the mindset of the BJP government and the BJP party vis-a-vis
on Kashmir?
On Kashmir, entirely on Kashmir. Because if I go there very often, and I was given to understand that the BJP government is not going to speak to the Hurriyat. Whereas senior BJP members have gone with a group of people to speak to the Hurriyat. So my question is there a difference in the mindset between the BJP party and the BJP government on Kashmir?
Well, Dr. Raina is a Kashmiri,
Yes,
and he's referring to Mr. Yashwant Sinha, obviously.
Yes. As far as dialogue with different groups in the valley is concerned, in our common minimum program, we have clearly stated that the state government is open, why should I say open, is duty bound to talk to all the different stakeholders in the state. And we have added the phrase, including Hurriyat. They are a part and parcel of Jammu and Kashmir state's citizenry. They have every right to talk to the government. Government is obliged to talk to them. They will anytime talk to those people. But as far as Government of India's policy is concerned, talks for the sake of talks are just to please some intellectual sitting in TV studios in Delhi. It would not happen that way. If somebody wants to talk to the government, he also has to listen to the government. Talks cannot be a one-way road. You have patthar in your hands. You promote violence. You fly Pakistani flags. And you say, talk to me. This is a different government. You cannot talk that way. You want to talk, you show that sincerity. That sincerity is lacking in the separatist leadership in Kashmir Valley. So any question of whether Government of India wants to talk or not talk doesn't arise as long as the leadership, separatist leadership there continues with this kind of policy of promoting terrorism. You see, making innocent citizens scapegoats in their game is unacceptable to us. That must stop first before anybody talking about talks.
Let me ask you a question. There are about 250 militants right now operating in the valley. About 100 are foreign and about 150 are local Kashmiri militants. You talked about neutralizing the last militant. Are you talking about the Indian Kashmiri militants also? A. B. Is there any difference between your government and the previous government in the way it treats local Kashmiri militants?
I don't qualify militant with this militant, that militant. Militant is a militant. Somebody who holds a gun in his hands. Will you agree him in this hall or not? Will you not throw him out of this hall if he wields a gun in your hands? See, the last man, you cannot say that he is sitting in the last row, what is your problem? No, that is not acceptable in a... Either you follow democratic system, you go to the government of the day, talk to them, or face it. When I say militants, no qualifications. Militant is that person who is wielding a weapon in his hands and killing people, whether innocent or not innocent. I mean, these are all the judgments one makes. So, how do you explain the killing of that Lieutenant Fayaz few days ago? So, no question of qualifying militants as local, outsider, this and that. If you are a militant, you have to be ready for the consequences.
So you will not treat Indian militants as misguided youth and try and bring them in the mainstream as used to be?
Now, as I said, I don't qualify anybody as Indian militant and foreign militant.
So at the moment,
militant is a militant.
The moment he picks up a gun, he will be neutralized.
A gun against the state and the people is not accepted in our system.
You just mentioned the Sri Lankan model. What do you think about the Sri Lankan model, the way they quelled the insurgency there? It has many critics, not just in Sri Lanka, but around the world. You think that's an effective way of...
No, I only said, I have not justified the Malayan experience or Sri Lankan experience. I only said there are different ways of dealing with terrorism. Each country has to devise its own way of tackling terror. A big challenge while tackling terror is the question of human rights. How do you ensure that not a single, I'm not even saying few, not a single innocent is affected? How do you ensure that? It's a very big challenge. And the intensity of this challenge is known to us because we see it every day happening in the valley. The amount of brunt that our forces take on themselves in order only to ensure that not a single innocent is injured or affected or killed is what we experience on a daily basis, friends. It brings tears in my eyes. They accept 150 stones, but do not fire one single bullet. This is the commitment we have for the human rights. But then you say, show the same human rights sentiment to the militants and terrorists. Sorry, this government doesn't show that. We believe that making Kashmir an integral part, nahi. We believe that Kashmir is an integral part of India. Has been an integral part of India. You tell me what is our problem with OBOR? One belt, one road. Because big conference is going on today and tomorrow in China.
It goes through territory that's our own.
We say it's not physically in our control today. It's today controlled illegally by Pakistan. Yet, as a government, not just our government, Manmohan Singh's government, we refuse to engage with China on OBOR. Why? We believe that it has been an integral part of India. So nobody is talking about making it an integral part of India. There are leaders who talked about making India into a nation, a nation in the making, people said. But I belong to a school which believed that this country has been a nation from time immemorial. This nationhood is based on a particular cultural identity. This is my interpretation. There can be disputes. There can be different arguments. India is a land of arguments. You can have your own version, convince people.
I am Gupta. I feel the government at center and the state in Kashmir, it acting very soft on Hurriyat. Why their financial support from Pakistan and India is not cut off? And if they are acting very tough and talking anti-national every day, why they are not put in behind the bar?
The financial channels have been strictly controlled and cut off. You see the result of it, you see the result of it. The result is today, like looters and burglars, they are going after the banks and ATM vans. The very fact that they are today forced to go and loot banks, although when they go to loot banks, today we have ensured that banks do not have hard cash. And they end up looting the guns of the security personnel standing outside. And the security personnel ordinarily carry 303 rifles. So there is a desperation. We have tightened the channels of money flow to them. Then I must tell you, this whole myth that we are providing security to separatist leaders, etc., is just a myth. We are not providing any additional security. Every citizen is entitled to a particular amount of security. That much state is duty bound to provide. That we are providing. Beyond that, somebody who is not entitled for more security, we are not providing. Every citizen, depending on, we have a security threat assessment system. Based on that, every citizen requires a particular amount of security. Rest of it, laws should deal with it. Legal system should deal with it. If he is doing something illegal, law should take care of that. Law will take care of that. Law will catch up with everybody.
United States, what is the Indian dream? In US, the US dream is that anybody who lives there or migrates to that place can succeed in any walk of life if he works hard enough and has the opportunity to do so. And if you are a citizen already, you can even become a president, whatever your status might be. And when it looks at the world, it looks at the world as a force for the good. It has sent a number of its children to die for that everywhere abroad. So it's a kind of dream that people live, because this is what people need in order to understand where I am is a good place. I want to be here, and it does give me success. What do you think is the Indian dream of your party?
Yeah. The great Indian dream that we have in mind. India is 1.25 billion people, and there will be, everybody has at least 2 dreams, so it will be 2.5 billion dreams. But as a party, as a government, if you ask me what's your great Indian dream, I would say 5 things. Very quickly: Samman, respect for the last Indian under a flyover. Samman. Samvad, greater engagement between the people, lesser divisions, lesser conflict, greater Samvad. Samruddhi, last man should have his needs addressed. Samruddhi. Suraksha, every Indian should feel secure. And the last is Samskruti and Sabhyata. The civilizational and cultural values of this land are kept, held up, kept intact, presented to the world. In my view, these 5 things comprise of our great Indian dream. We as a government are working towards achieving this.
So, Prasun Joshi here. What is that idea of America which appeals to you today? That this is what we would like, because a lot of things America is failing in. There's maybe certain things to learn from them. There are certain things to absolutely unlearn and sort of not follow. And I think mostly we are referring to either America or Singapore, is that its opulence and success in a certain way is what seems to be the driving force.
When I referred to India becoming America, I said a taxi driver also has a vision for India. For him, America means prosperity to the last man, an ideal society for him. That's what he understands about America. Whether America is a good example or not, I am one person who believes that the traditional Indian dictum, Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yant Vishwata, let noble thoughts come from every side of the world, every corner of the world. There are good things in those societies, in the Western society, their rule-abidingness. One great quality of those societies, if only we adopt it. We adopt all the wrong things, nightclubs and all. I'm sorry, if somebody is going, I'm not somebody to stop you. But I'm saying we adopt things, but there are a few good things that we can adopt. It is different for every individual. For a taxi driver, it is like the prosperity there. But what is our Indian dream? I said in my previous answer to my previous question, whether India has something to offer to the world, something unique, something Indian. That is the civilizational and cultural values of this land, which the world badly needs today. But, as Swami Vivekananda used to always say, before you decide to offer them to the world outside, practice them in your country. Make them the reality of the day here. We are very far away from making them a reality in our country today. We have to strive for that first. Then otherwise, why would world respect merely your ideal because you have a great ideal? If you are not a great country, nobody will accept your ideal.
You have been very active, and you were the architect of the government in Assam and the election victory there, now Manipur. How important are these states ruled by BJP to your party, culturally, politically, and from a geostrategic position? And does it play a part in your Act East push?
Northeast, number one, it's important because it's an integral part of India. Every small part of India is important for us. From that point of view, they are like any other state. Assam is like Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra. It is one of the Indian states. It has to occupy the same, it deserves the same amount of focus and respect as other states do. But for us, a couple of very important sentiments inspire us when we work in the Northeast. Number one, it's one area where traditionally the party has been weak. except for Assam, where we have a good number of members of parliament, 7 out of 14. In other states, party's presence is relatively weak. So growing in areas where party is weak is always a good thing for us. It's a good challenge for us at one level, but also a good motivating thing for us. In that sense, yes, winning states in the Northeast, in elections, otherwise also. I always tell these days that to form a government, you have to have that skill. You don't have to face the election also.
How did you resolve the Chur-Chandrapur issue, the burial of bodies that was pending for so many months? What did you do differently in Manipur?
We have not done anything differently from any government should do. We did it, the previous government did not do it. The previous government wanted to use the divide between the hills and the valley for its political advantage, for its political benefits. We, as soon as we came to power, we decided that we will treat all of them as one people, one state. Manipur has hills and valley, but it's all together is one state. Manipur is an integral area of hills and valley. Together is Manipur.
Under the previous NDA government, there were tensions between, which was under Mr. Vajpayee, of course, there were tensions between the Sangh and the BJP government. It seems to be far smoother now. As somebody who is both a party person and from the RSS, can you tell us something about the coordination that happens and why it's smoother now?
I was there very much in Delhi at the time of the previous government also. In fact, I was the spokesperson for the RSS at that time when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. So there were differences on issues, I don't deny that. But tensions used to be more in the TV studios. Yeah, tension is a big word. There were issues on which we had difference of opinion, which is quite normal. In this government, there are issues where the organizations in the Parivar have a different viewpoint, different take. We sit across the table more often. There is a system in place. There was a system in place at that time also. Maybe I will give credit to all of you because we realized that, there is too much attention on the fault lines, not on the larger, your family ties and all. कुछ है क्या बीच में ये देखने का प्रयास ज्यादा होता है. Probably based on the experience, the leadership is more careful. No tensions, I agree with you. There is a mechanism in place for you to understand. There is a mechanism in place. RSS, I am from the RSS with full responsibility, I am saying. Although I am not authorized to speak for the RSS. But I am, as an RSS member with full responsibility, with experience, I am saying it does not interfere in the day-to-day functioning of our government. They restrict their role to giving their viewpoints to us. From time to time, there is an issue. In fact, yesterday morning, we had a long discussion about Kashmir. The RSS leadership came over to the party leadership. They gave their opinion about what should or should not be done in Kashmir. This exchange happens. We have a mechanism in place, but RSS does not interfere in day-to-day functioning of the government, so there is no tension.
So, is there much divergence between RSS's view on Kashmir and the government's?
Not much divergence. But RSS sees it from slightly different perspective. For us, we have at one level our commitment, but also at another level, we are the ruling party in the state also, not just at the center. And in this state, as a ruling party, we have a partner also. It's not just the BJP government there. So we have a different way of handling the things. We explain our position on those issues that they are dear to us. But those issues are not, the government, PDP, BJP government is not opposed to those issues.
So you are not one of those who say that this alliance has failed, bring in governor's rule?
If it fails at any point in time, the natural course for the government will be to bring in the governor's rule. But right now, I do not agree with the conclusion, if anybody has, that the government has fully failed. No. In fact, valley situation is improving on a daily basis.
almost after 30 years, we saw a Prime Minister. I mean, at least last 10 years, we didn't have a Prime Minister, So a real, in true sense, we got a Prime Minister. And we as electorate, people who vote, we want our Prime Minister to be dictatorial. I mean, we don't want the Prime Minister to take consensus. We have given him 5 years, and in that 5 years, he needs to be decisive. And I think that's the correct way which is happening now in the country. So that should continue. Democracy is there, you elect the subordinates. I call them the subordinates, the MPs and the class. But the Prime Minister should be decisive.
I agree with you. I mean, no question of disagreeing with you. Decisive, but also consensus builder you need. You have to be decisive. Prime Minister's greatest strength lies in his ability to build that consensus. See, he champions the issues, but he connects with the people. When I say consensus, there may not be consensus again in a TV studio. There people have to fight. Then only there is any meaning. But at the larger society level, he has been able to build that consensus for Swachh Bharat, for other schemes. Today, society has taken it upon itself to do things. That is the strength of our leadership. So that's why I have problems accepting the word dictatorship. Otherwise, leader has to be decisive. You have seen Modi.
I'll add
decisive
but
and democratic,
has to be,
not decisive dictatorial.
I'll add, consensus, yes, he should take advice of everybody. But he should decide. And that we see in Mr. Modi. That's how we have been supporting him.
I said decisive and democratic, not decisive and dictatorial.
No issues. I mean, there were many...
Democracy is there. I mean, we elect. But then that leader has to take his decision on his own.
On a lighter note, very lighter note, you are Ram and Madhav also. You agree with that? You are Ram Madhav. So Hinduism and Hindutva are the same or different, like Ram Madhav?
First of all, Ram
we do have a sense of humor. That's what I wanted to convey.
I am Ram and Madhav together is me.
That's what I'm saying.
You can call me Ram, you can call... As far as Hinduism and Hindutva is concerned, it is, you try to find some argument for the sake of argument, and not you, when I say you, generally the discourse is, you have to find fault with some thinking. So you say that Hindutva is different from Hinduism. I come from Hindutva school. For me, no difference. If any difference is there, I don't accept it. I accept only the traditional Hindu view of life as Hindutva. Nothing else. Not me. Every individual in the parivar accepts it, should accept it.
Sir, my name is Varang Trivedi. I'm an entrepreneur in the chemical industry. My question is about Pakistan again. After the Uri attack, Prime Minister very deftly used the best weapon we have against Pakistan, which is water, and suspended the meetings of the Indus Water Commission and directed us to use maximum amount of water. I understand that the meetings have been resumed in last 2 months. One meeting, in fact, took place, I believe, in March. What has changed in Pakistan's behavior that we are rewarding them with these meetings?
These are policy issues. Diplomacy requires a certain refined approach. Let the government handle it. Look for the results. When Prime Minister said, we will respond appropriately, that response also has been given. And today, for some aspects, if there is any discussion going on, but also so many other things are going on. Today, even Iran is putting pressure on Pakistan. Today, USA is openly coming out and putting pressure on Pakistan to behave. These things are not happening automatically, remember. There are certain things happening. The result is what we see today. But as I said, you cannot gloat over everything, boast about everything that we are doing this and we are doing that. That's how diplomacy is.
Well, I think just to add there, within the Indus Waters Treaty, India can do a lot, which is actually to harness its own rivers in Punjab better. And the Prime Minister spoke about that before Punjab elections. Because the water of those 3 rivers is fully India's.
This whole strategy of bringing in rebels from other parties within the fold of the BJP, do you think in the long run it would hurt the party and leave it ideologically diluted or confounded perhaps?
No, when we bring them in, we also put them through a grueling training session. Don't worry.
Re-education karte hai kya?
No, it's not easy to be a member of BJP. It's very hard. So they learn the hard way, but when they come, they get a lot of respect. They understand that we stand for the country, they like it, and they continue.
You're one of the things that went missing was you're an expert on China. You've written a couple of books on China. How did India's relations with China come to where it is today, that we have to boycott a meeting? You talked about why we are doing that, but from the time when Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping sat on a swing in Ahmedabad, today we are at a stage where we are having lots of tensions. Why has it happened, and how do you see this can be resolved?
Firstly, I'm not an expert. I do study foreign policy closely and China also. Secondly, to put it very directly to answer to your question, India-China relationship has seen number of ups and downs. Today, it is generally under Prime Minister Modi, generally on an upward kind of curve. OBOR is one issue on which our differences are well known. It's not that we have done anything suddenly. The position of India on OBOR, especially CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, has been consistent right from the time it was announced in 2013 by China. So we are only following a consistent policy. Yes, on that issue, we have a difference of opinion, but don't take it that it will lead to any great deterioration in relations. You also must remember, when you talk about OBOR or our reluctance to join that group, you also must remember that we have joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We are very much there in Asian Infrastructure Bank, which are mainly driven by China. We have nothing against China per se, but certain issues which involve sovereignty questions, India cannot compromise on those issues. That's the reason why we are not there at the OBOR summit today. It does not signify anything other than that one limited issue.
I just want to ask you, who is the BJP likely to nominate as the next president of India?
बता दो बता दो
No, first of all, I am not privy to those discussions. Whoever is there will definitely, you will all know anyway. But I only wish that the print will be the first agency organization to know the name. I wish them well.
Yeah, thank you. But before I let you go, Ram, I know you have a flight to catch. Two things, Article 370 and Section 377. One of IPC, one of the Constitution. What is your view on each of these?
Both need revisiting.
Both need revisiting. Which one needs revisiting more urgently?
No, both need it. On 370, our position is well known, so I don't want to repeat it again and again. I can only reassure you that it has not changed. It remains.
So just say it again.
That's enough. I mean, you have very wise audience, they understand.
Right.
On 377, I said it, and I think an RSS leader also has said it some time back, that the criminality part of it
has to go.
Needs to be looked into again. Let it be revisited. That I think is the fair position.
I want to ask you why this government is not focusing on the implementation of the government schemes on the ground level. As a social activist, I can see the gap between existing government schemes and their actual beneficiaries. Because I'm connected with the people on the ground, so I'm asking on behalf of them.
Our information is that they are being implemented effectively, but if there are any gaps, we will take care of them. We will ensure that they are implemented more effectively. But also remember, this government is elected for 5 years. So it's a process. They will complete and they will definitely be implemented. They are there for implementation, not for propaganda. We will ensure that they are implemented.
Well, I wish we could have gone on for a long time. This has been our most engaging discussion so far. And I wish there could be, like in the movies, a session after interval. But Ram Madhav, thank you very much. I think we'll have the pleasure of hosting you once again. This is just your charm that early morning we had a full hall in Bombay. And thank you very much for not ducking any question.
Very late by RSS standards. Thank you.